Hey everybody, what's happening? Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving to all of my friends here from the US. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for joining me for such. We already got 25 people here. This is a wonderful thing. Let me know if you can hear me okay in the chat room. That would be great. Tonight's going to be something a little different and something fun. We're going to go through, as the title suggests, we are going to go through my favorite plugins, the winners and the losers for 2020 thus far. Reason being, tomorrow's Black Friday, as everybody knows, and although a lot of these plugin companies are already put plugins on Black Friday sales, some of you have already purchased some of these things. Some companies have not yet. Some companies might be even offering even better deals starting tomorrow through the weekend and into Monday. And so I figured this is a good opportunity for me to share with you the ones that I think that are really worth looking at, maybe the ones not so much. And we're going to do that. So we're going to do very few, I think, actual sound examples and demos. There's a lot of plugins to look at, and I'm not going to be able to go through every plugin from a sound example point of view. However, I will tell you that 90% of what I'm going to show you tonight all have full-fledged reviews and videos right here on the YouTube channel that you can check out where I demoed them, okay? Some of them I just haven't got a chance to, and we'll talk about those, but most of them do. And I'll try to remember as we go through each one. If I remember doing a review on it, I'll say go check the archive. Now, the thing about the way I've organized all of the playlists on our YouTube channel is by plugin manufacturer. They used to be in one folder called plugin reviews, but 90% of them now are all broken down by the plugin manufacturer. So for example, all the waves are in one playlist, all the plugin alliance are in another. So it's easy for you guys to find because there's a lot of reviews. So that's what we're going to do. Does that sound like fun? So before we get started, if you see across the bottom of the screen, before I head to the chat, this is the last weekend for the Black Friday training sale at Home Recording Made Easy. All single title training courses are 50% off. Black 50 you put in as a coupon code. And you will get 50% off. Okay. So make sure you take care of that this weekend, because by Monday, that sale is done. It's done, and it's done until next year. Okay. So you want to get some training, go check it out. Also, pay close attention or take a look at the live mixing series in particular. And the reason why I say this is because as of January 1st, 2021, those are no longer going to be available on the website to the general public. Those will be special courses that I give private students and people on my VIP email list if they want to purchase them, but they're not going to be widely available. Okay, so if you want the live mixing series, there's 8 volumes. You can get them at 50% off. Go get them at 50% off because those are coming off the website at the end of the year. But everything else is 50% off, Black 50. If this is your first time here in a live stream with Home Recording Made Easy, let us know in the chat. I'll make sure I say hello to you here, and I'm going to go to the chat and say hi to everyone now. Let us know if you're here. Welcome to the family. Make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. You hit the notification bell, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, blah, 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 blah. Follow me on social media because I post a lot of stuff on social media that's not always a part of YouTube. So make sure that you do that. And then last but certainly not least, if you find this live stream helpful to you in any way and you want to buy Uncle Dave a cup of coffee, feel free to use the super chat. It really does help me, allow me to free up my time to do these things for you, and I greatly appreciate it. So let's head on over to the chat. Let's see who is here tonight, and I'll say hello, and then we'll jump into the DAW and we'll look at some of these plugins. This ought to be fun. So let me scroll back. David S.J. is here. Hey, David, how are you, brother? My moderator and partner in crime. Good to see you, my friend. Jim is here. Hey, Jim, what's going on? Ken Moss. Hey, Ken, how are you? Sergio's here. Hey, what's going on from Portugal? Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Richard is here. Hey, Richard, how are you doing? Let's see. Who else? Alistair's here. Hey, Alistair. Good to see you. Steve Kerr is here. Hey, US and Canada too. That's right. US and Canada. Robbie is here. Robbie, what's up? Rhett Child's here. Hey, what's going on? Spent too much on Acoustica today. Good. We're going to talk about Acoustica plugins. Or not Acoustica. I have some. I haven't demoed them yet. There are some plugins I'm not going to show because I haven't gotten around to doing all the demos yet. I'm going to try to finish some up by the end of the year. Acoustica is one of them. I have a few of them I'm going to demo. We're not going to talk about them tonight because I can't give you my honest opinion on them because I haven't tried them yet. I only have just gotten the plugin. So I'm only going to tell you about stuff tonight that I can actually vouch for. You know, I'm not just going to tell you go look at stuff that I don't know whether it's good or not. But Acoustica is on my radar. TK's here. Hey, TK. Rick is here. Hey, Rick, what's going on? Alberto's here. What's up, Alberto? Let's see. Rob T's here. Bobby mixing and mastering. What's up, Bob? DJ's here. Big Red. Hey, how's it going? Alan is here. Hey, how are you? Andy is here. Hey, Andy, what's up, brother? Good to see you as well. Kenzala's here. Hey, what's up? And Jose is here, and Sergio again is here. Awesome. First time in the chat, but see all your videos from home recording. Love it. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for following me. I really do appreciate that. And Randall's here. Hey, Randall, if I didn't say hi to you, I'm sorry. So that's great. So we have about 45 people here. People are starting to creep in. This is wonderful. So yeah, make sure you do everything you see on this on the screen there. Subscribe, follow, blah, 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 blah. And use the super chat, and that'll be cool. Also, make sure, and Dave's already put in the chat, again, with all the Black Friday deals, the Sweetwater link, my affiliate link, Dave has been putting in the chat. If you guys are going to be buying stuff from Sweetwater, if you use that link, it really does help me out. It doesn't cost you any more money. You can save that link to your desktop. So if you buy anything in the future at Sweetwater, you will be helping me out as well, and I do greatly appreciate that. Also, a lot of the plugins that you're going to see tonight, I'd say half of them, are also available at Sweetwater for the same price, and in some cases a little bit lower, especially with the Izotope stuff, on Sweetwater's website than on the manufacturer's website. So you can also buy the plugins from Sweetwater just the way you can from the manufacturer. I'll try to make sure I mention the ones that I know that they carry when we get through them, if you want to do that. But you use the main link for Sweetwater that Dave puts in the chat, and no matter what you purchase on Sweetwater, that link will help. You don't need to have a specific affiliate link for any one of the plugins. Make sense? Hope that makes sense. Cool. All right, so let me get some cans on. Hey, and let's head on over into Studio One. Let's open up some plugins. Let me talk you through some of the plugins, and you guys can check them out. And then I'll answer some questions along the way. Dave will answer some questions. We'll do a Q&A session. We'll do all that stuff. We'll hang for a bit. We'll see how long you guys want to hang out. And again, we're not going to do too many sound examples tonight because it would just take far too long. There's a lot of plugins to cover. But like I said, you'll be able to see most of them on the YouTube channel. So let me get Studio One up here. Let me get my thing going. And here we are in Studio One. And what we're going to do is this. So what I basically have done, we're using the same song as we've been using for the live stream. By the way, there's another live stream coming Saturday night this evening. We're going to pick up on our live mixing where we're going to talk about console emulation. If you missed last week's episode, part 1, where I talked about tape machines, and we took a deep dive into one of the tape machines, look at all the controls, how it works, how it functions conceptually, how you think about tape, all of that. I'm sure Dave somewhere along the line will put that in the chat, but you can check out last week's video. Part 2 is this Saturday night, so make sure you're here 7 p.m. where we're going to add now to the tape machine console emulation. But this is the same session that we're using. So basically what I've done is I put all the plugins down here on buses by plugin manufacturer because there's a lot of them, okay? And we're just going to start here. The first one we're going to start with is a company called, I believe it's pronounced Arturia. Some people say it's Arturia. I don't know. But this is a plugin company that came onto my radar actually from a couple of the guys over at mixingmadeeasy.net, which, by the way, if you want to become a member of mixingmadeeasy.net, the doors are opening on January 1st, 2021. You need to put your name on the email list over at mixingmadeeasy.net. It's right on the homepage, and then you will get notified. Membership enrollment will be open for 5 days, and then it closes for the entire year. So if you want to dig into that, ask me about that. Ask people in the chat about it. Look at the video on mixingmadeeasy.net and you'll learn all about it. But a couple of the guys there have been, mentioning this company to me for a while. And I finally, after I get caught up on some of the plugins, I went to check them out. You guys recommend them? Hey, I want to learn something too, right? So I believe it's pronounced Arturia. And they make a series of plugins, and this is one of them. This is the Pre-73. Now, there is a review on the YouTube channel where I compare this to other 1073, Neve 1073 plugins from Slate Digital and from Universal Audio, and there's a couple others, IK Multimedia maybe, I forget, but there's a couple of videos, I think there's at least 2, where this thing really stacks up really well. This is a wonderful plugin, the Pre-73. All their plugins that I've tested so far have been really, really, really good. So this is one of them here. Again, there's a full video of it. This is the 1073. And they've also been really nice enough that not only do I have all the licenses, they gave me a bunch of licenses to give away as part of the mixing contest at mixingmadeeasy.net. We've given away a couple so far. We're going to give away more as we move on. So this is one of them. And that's my favorite of the group. The next one, which I think is really good, is by the same company. And this is the Pre-Tride A. This is the Trident preamp EQ. So just like the 1073, you not only have the preamp section, but you have the EQ section. There are very few plugin manufacturers that really have modeled a Trident. And this is a really good one. This sounds much different than the 1073. It's a different color altogether. Again, there is a demo on the channel you can check out. Another wonderful plugin to check out. And I'm sure Dave is going to be putting here, I could already see Dave's always on top of this stuff, putting up links to the different plugin manufacturers. I don't know which ones are on sale yet, or maybe some not going on until tomorrow. You'll have to check that, but I can vouch for these preamps. They're wonderful preamps. If you're in the market for some, those are great. The next one by them that I really like, and this is really unique. This is the Pre-V76. This is made modeled after an old German radio broadcast desk. So much different sounding than the other two that we looked at. So you have 3 preamps. You have the 1073, the Trident, and the V76. Completely different flavors, sound completely different. There are reviews of all of them, and I highly recommend them. The way I would typically use these is maybe put them maybe second in the chain of your inserts. You've used maybe your tape machine as plugin number 1. If you're going to use a preamp, that would maybe be plugin number 2, and then maybe your console emulation and your channel strip after that kind of order. You can use them across all your tracks. You can use them on singular tracks. You can use them on buses. They're very CPU friendly, meaning they don't demolish the CPU. So you could put many instances of these on your tracks, and they're really, really good. So those are the 3 preamps. The other few plugins by this company that I can say are really, really good. This is the Rev Plate reverb. Wonderful sounding reverb by Arturia, or Arturia, however you pronounce it. I think you would really, really like this one. This is one I would absolutely check out. If you don't have a really good plate reverb in your collection, this is one to look at. If you're someone who's mainly a stock plugin person and you don't have a lot of third-party plugins, one of the questions I get asked a lot from people jumping into that world is, from stock to third-party, what should I buy first? And I usually say get a good tape machine and then look at either a good reverb or a good delay, because normally the stock reverbs and delays with DAWs are usually not the greatest. I don't care whose DAW it is. They're not the greatest. These are much better than that. So this is one I would recommend. If you're in the market for this plugin manufacturer, this is one you could definitely check out. The other reverb I think is wonderful by them is a spring reverb. This is their spring reverb. This is called the Spring 636. Excellent spring reverb plugin. The only other spring reverb plugin that I own that I think even competes with this is one by Universal Audio. This is a wonderful, wonderful plugin. Spring reverbs are usually a little bit... they're not the easiest things to model, because the ones that are not done well sound very artificial. Springs can sound that way if they're not modeled right. This one is modeled correctly, in my opinion. And lastly, by Arturia, this is a wonderful compressor called the Comp Tube Stay, STA. Very unique. Sounds different than anything else. Again, there's a full demo on the YouTube channel that you can check out. I would recommend this one as well. I've also done some other plugins demos by them for the 1176 and for the LA2A. Those are kind of they're okay. They're not bad at all. But their 1176 and their LA2A is, similar to any other 1176 or LA2A that's on the market. However, this one is unique. This Comp Tube Stay is something that I don't have by any other manufacturer. Wonderful on pianos, staccato type keyboards, acoustic guitars. Things that have a very percussive kind of a feel, that you want to kind of tame down the transient and smooth it out, but not completely squash it. This is a really great compressor to consider. Okay, so that is the Arturia collection of plugins that I have that I like. I think they're all really, really good. And again, the 1176 they have is great. The LA2A is great, but if you already have one of those in your collection by another manufacturer, I'd say you could stay away from it. You don't need it because there's nothing extra special about it. However, again, there's YouTube videos for it. The next company is a company called Soundtoys. This is another company that has provided licenses to mixingmadeeasy.net, which is really kind to them. And this is one of their first plugins that I did a review, and there's actually 2 videos of this on the channel. There were 2 revisions of this plugin. This is called the Front DAW. This is to compete with something like the Virtual Console Collection by Slate or the NLS by Waves. It's one of those things where you put it across all your tracks, first or second in your chain. It gives you kind of the input console feel. They have a British, a USA, and a German console modeled here. Real simple. You have an input knob, a high pass filter, and a mojo, or a harmonic distortion. They call it mojo. And when I originally did the review, the thing that was missing about this is they didn't have an output to level match the plugin. The more you'd push the input to get more of that kind of color, and the more mojo you would push, the louder it would get, but you couldn't turn it down. They saw that video and actually reached out to me, and their engineers actually put an output on it, so now you can level match the plugin. So that was pretty interesting. I like it. I did a full review on it. You'll see it. You'll see the 2 videos. Look at the second one, because the second one is where I talk about this output. You know, if you have the Virtual Console Collection by Slate, do you need this? No. If you don't have anything like a console emulation plugin, and you don't have one, and you don't have Slate stuff or the NLS by Waves, and you're looking for one, this is a good one. It's a good plugin, but if you already have, like I said, the Slate Digital one, there's really no reason to buy this one because you have the 3 consoles already modeled in the Slate, and it doesn't sound any different, no better, no worse. It's a little different. Again, CPU-wise, very CPU-friendly, solid plugin if you want to check it out. Okay, Front DAW by Soundtoys Digital is the name of the company. Okay, second plugin by them that I thought was really good. This is the Royale compressor. Again, this is one of those compressors that are different from most of what I own. Again, there's a full YouTube video on this, so you can see this and listen to this in action. It's got a wonderful saturation section that I really enjoy. It's got a unique way that they deal with the release times and with the models A, B, and C. And again, I talk about all of that in the YouTube video. Again, much like the one by Arturia, the Comp 2 Stay, very unique sounding. This is very unique sounding. This doesn't sound like an 1176 or anything like that. It's very, very different. And so I would recommend you check this one out if you like that kind of stuff. The next plugin by them is the Fire Cobra. Again, this is a saturation, kind of a tube saturation plugin. I did a YouTube video on it. It's okay. Again, if you have things like the Everything Bundle by Slate, where you have the virtual tube collection with their saturators, or one of a bunch of other saturation plugins are on the market, this is one you can maybe pass over. Again, you could probably demo all of these on their website. They were kind enough to give me a bunch of licenses that I'll be giving away over at mixingmadeeasy.net. If you don't have a saturation plugin, you could take a look at this. But is this, something real unique and different and so much head and shoulders better than any other saturation plugin on the market? No. It's okay, but, take that for what it's worth. Simple to use, sounds good, but unless you need something like this, you may want to look elsewhere. The next plugin by this company is called the Fire Master. Again, another type of saturation plugin that you can use on buses, on your master bus. Again, sounds good, adds color, adds some harmonic distortion. This one has a few different controls. It has a color control and air control. This is really good on a master bus. You can add some bass and a little bit of depth. Does a nice job. Again, is it something I would tell you run out and buy right now? No. If you can get it for, less than $25 or less than $30 and you're looking for this kind of a plugin, you could check it out. It's a good company. It sounds good. Again, there's a full video of this on the YouTube channel as well. Okay, everybody with me? We'll get to the chat, don't worry. Let's see, what's the next one by them? The next one by them, the last one by them is the Fire Presser. Now this one I got to be honest, I wasn't really thrilled with this one. This is another type of a saturation plugin, but it does it in kind of a unique way. I give them credit for trying to do something a little different, where basically you have a way where you have 4 different types of, you have a varied view, an 1176, a distressor, and a DB 160 kind of a compressor. And you can, in this little quadrant here, you can take this little dot and move it around, and you can blend different types of, so you're not just dealing with a varied view or 1176, you can, you know, blend between the two, which is kind of unique. And again, they have a bunch of presets and stuff that you can check out. It's okay. You know, again, it's not one of the ones where I would say, oh, you got to have this one. We'll get to some of those plugins. There are some plugins where I say you should absolutely consider. This is one of those ones again. If you have, you know, it is unique in the way that you can blend them together. You know, is it one of the ones I'm going to reach for all the time? Not really, but it does have a unique sound. It does have some cool color to it. You do have some cool control over it. But you know, you could check it out. But if you have something similar, another one that you could probably pass on. This is the Fire Presser. And so by Soundtoys Digital, but a good company, really good customer service. They make some cool stuff. And this is one you might want to look at. Everyone with me still? We still got 55 people. Okay, great. So that's Soundtoys. So let's go over to Plugin Alliance and over to PSP. So one of my, come on, here we go. This is the new PSP Infinity strip. There is a live stream we did about, I don't know, 4 weeks ago, where we demoed this for the first time. I am going to be working with this in mixingmadeeasy.net quite a bit next year. This was one that actually, I think it was David S.J. in the chat that actually, the moderator here, one of my good friend, he actually turned me on to this, I believe. And he was right. This is good. We compared this to the IK Multimedia Mixbox, which we'll talk about in a bit, which I wasn't a fan of. This one I am. This is a cool 500 series channels strip kind of a thing where you have different modules that you can put in, you know, and you can put in different orders, and everything that we've listened to on this during that live stream, and we did about an hour demonstration. You can go watch it. I don't think there was anything that didn't sound good. So this would be something I would definitely look at if you're into this thing. Again, if you want a one and all-in-one plugin where you have compressors and gates and limiters and saturators, and you can, you know, make your own customized channel strips, this is a really cool plugin. Also, it's very user-friendly. So this is a good one. This one I would absolutely recommend. Again, I got 5 licenses for mixingmadeeasy.net for our mixing contest. So I get a lot of plugin licenses for our students over at Mixing Made Easy, and I give them away every month as part of the mixing contest. So again, if you want to get in on that and you're not a member, make sure you go over there and get on the email list. Okay, great plugin. This is a good one. This is a sleeper that I was surprised it was as good as it is. So check this one out for sure if you want to check this one out. Okay, Plugin Alliance. So Plugin Alliance, this plugin here, if you're one of the students over at Mixing Made Easy, you've heard me say this over and over and over and over again. I'm like a broken record with this plugin. This plugin, Adapt Audio Systems AB Metric, it's on by Plugin Alliance, is an absolute must-have for anyone that mixes and that's serious about mixing. It is used to compare reference tracks to your mix with a bunch of other tools that you can see on the YouTube channel. There's a full video of it. This I absolutely 100% recommend, and I told all of my students, please, this will be $50, I think, on Black Friday. For $50, you should have this in your collection. If you don't use reference tracks for mixing, you should, and this is the plugin I would recommend. So check this out for sure. I'm still working to try to get with Plugin Alliance to maybe partner up with me at mixingmadeeasy.net, because I'd like to give a lot of my students this for free. I haven't been able to crack that code yet, but I'm working on it. But anyway, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, you should have this plugin. Okay? Okay, rest of Plugin Alliance. Now, again, up until this year, I will say, I wasn't a big fan of Plugin Alliance. until they started putting out these channel strips that we're going to talk about now, I wasn't a big fan of a lot of their plugins. You know, that one we just talked about wasn't even around yet. I don't know why. Just they were always just kind of like, I've tried a few of their things in the past. It was kind of okay, but nothing really, you know, nothing really turned me on. When they started putting out these channel strips, it changed the game for me. This is the Focusrite SC BX console with Brainworks and Plugin Alliance. This channel strip is fantastic. This is another one of the, if you like channel strip mixing, this is an absolute home run, I think. No one does a Focusrite that I know of, at least not as good as this one. I would absolutely recommend this 100% without a shadow of a doubt. Typically they're pretty pricey, but again, I just saw today, I think it was today, that they put one of their plugins, I think it was the SSL, on for $30. If you could get this for $30, you should buy it. This is usually a $200 or $300 plugin. $200, I would buy it. But you can also, I guess they have a subscription package too. You're probably better off going with the subscription package. It's cheaper in the long run. But anyway, this is a wonderful, wonderful channel strip. Again, full review on the YouTube channel. The next one is I believe it's this is the Neve. This is their take on the Neve 88RS. Again, by Brainworks and Plugin Alliance. Love it. Did a great job. This compared to the Universal Audio one, I prefer the Universal Audio one a little bit better, but this is still wonderful. If you don't have Universal Audio and you want a cool Neve 88 style, this is the one to get. This is a great, great channel strip. All their channel strips are awesome. This is another one I would absolutely recommend that you have. Okay, let's see. The next one up here is their first SSL. This is the 4000E. Again, this one I think, again, I could be wrong. Check their website. I got it in their email yesterday or today. I think this one is $30 for Black Friday. If you don't have an SSL plugin in your strip in your collection, this is the one to get. I did do a shootout of all the all the SSL channel strip plugins that I owned. Is like a 2 or 3 part video series that we did in 2020. Go check that out. This one was in there. I use this all the time. It's a wonderful channel strip. Wonderful channel strip. Okay. Let's see. The next one is the 4000G. Again, great channel strips. And oh, by the way, these can all be resized. I know you see one's a little bit bigger than the others. They can all be resized. Again, what's really unique about their channel strips, the Brainworks stuff too, is they have the TMT, where they've actually modeled individual channels on the desk. They got the total harmonic distortion, the V gain, they give you the noise floor. It really is a wonderful channel strip. So here's the other, we saw an E series, here's a G series. Again, if you can get this at a good price, absolutely well worth it. Let's see, the next one by them is the SSL 9000J. This is another one that I really like. I've only used it once on one mix so far, but it's so much different sounding than the other two that we just looked at because they're different SSL consoles, right? So everyone's going to sound a little different. This is a more modern style sound. It sounds amazing. Again, check them out. You could demo them, or if you have their, you have their subscription package, I think you get all of these included. Again, if you could pick this up, I would absolutely recommend it. Okay, another one by Plugin Alliance that I really like. This is the Lindell. This is a take on a vintage Neve, the 80 series. This sounds so much different than the first Neve that we looked at. This has got much more of that vintage vibe to it. Really, really cool. Some people say I have some students that love this more than any other channel strip they own. I think this is a really great channel strip as well. Like I said, all of the Plugin Alliance Brainworks stuff, all of it is really good. This is another great one to absolutely check out for sure. Okay, then that's it for the channel strips. A couple other plugins by them I really like. This one was really good. This is by Purple Audio. This is their take on the 1177 with some additional controls down here. Again, I did a full review of this on the YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel. This is great because it sounds different than a typical 1176. I think it's the only 1176 that I'm featuring tonight, I believe. Because most companies that make 1176s, they're all pretty good. You know, they all sound pretty close to the same, and they should. This one sounds a little bit more unique. This is more, to me, a little bit more aggressive. It has a little bit more, it just has more vibe, I think, to it than, like, say, the CLA 76, you know? something to definitely check out. This one surprised me. This is one of those unique 1176s that I would recommend. So you may want to check that out. Again, Plug-in Alliance, Purple Audio, the MC77. Okay, this one here, this is the Shadow Hills Mastering Compressor. This is one, I know a lot of people like it. The hardware is very, very sought after and it's very pricey. I gotta be honest, it wasn't one of my favorites. It's a little bit much to wrap your head around with all the dials and shit, but not more so than that. The sound of it, it's got a unique sound. It's not that it sounds bad. I tried to put this on a couple of master buses on a few different styles of music mix wise. And no matter how much I tweaked it, it was, you know, it's like, it was okay. Again, maybe that's just me, my ear. I may have to revisit it again. Again, I know people that love the Shadow Hill stuff. It's just, you know, I just go, it's okay. It wasn't something that I was like, wow, you got to have that, you know. But something you may want to consider. It has a different sound, that's for sure. And some things it works on, and some things I think it just doesn't. I know it's more for mastering. I used it as more of a mix bus compressor, which is maybe not the proper application, but I was using it in a very light compression kind of a way, because that's typically how I use compression, as you guys know if you've been following me for any length of time. But it just wasn't something that I just did anything for me. Now, I also own the Universal Audio version of this, and same thing. It's like, they sound the same. One's not better than the other. So that's kind of my take on that. This is a cool plugin that if you don't have a transient designer, this is a cool one. This helps. I don't use this all the time, but if you're looking, you know, for the snare, kick drum, toms, things where after you do some compression, you lose a little bit of that transient. You want to bring some of that transient back without changing your compressor setting. This will retain some of those transients. This is a great little utility to have. This is by SPL. Again, Universal Audio makes a version of this as well, but this is the one by Plug-in Alliance, so it's native. You guys can get this. This is something I would absolutely recommend to have in your toolbox. Again, it's not something you're going to use all the time. But when you get a dense mix and you can't get the kick to cut through or the snare to cut through, this just a little bit of attack and a little bit of sustain will bring out that crack really, really nice and give you a little bit of extra sustain on it. Sometimes you lose some of that when you're compressing stuff. And so this will help bring that back. So that's a cool plugin. And I also have another version of this, kind of a transient designer by Waves, which I'll show you in a bit, which I just picked up this week. But this is a good one to check out for sure. Okay. And then the last one by Plug-in Alliance, which I think is pretty cool. This is an older plugin. This is called Brainworks BX Boom. This is for kick drums to give you that real low subsonic kind of a thing on your kick drum. You know, to get that real deep, thick sound. You need some of that thickness. This is a nice little plugin to do that with. So I would, you know, I would recommend this one. This is a utility. Again, I don't use it all the time, but this is another one of those utility plugins like the Transient Designer that sometimes you got a good kick drum sound. You don't want to really replace it with a sample, or you don't have the ability to replace it with a sample, and you just want to get a little more thickness. This will do that for you, and it's cheap. You get this for almost nothing. So I would check that out, okay? So that's Plug-in Alliance. So we're about almost halfway through. Everybody with me still? We got 90 people here. Wonderful. Everything going good again. I'll answer questions for you in the end. I know Dave is always answering questions along the way, but I will definitely answer questions at the end for you. Okay, now let's take a look at some of these here. Now, the first one we're going to take a look at is IQ Multimedia. This is the mix box. Again, this is the one that I said, We did a live stream on this as well. Looks cool. Couple of cool modules in it, very similar to the PSP Infinity Strip, made to kind of compete with the Slate Digital Virtual Mix Rack. Same concept. It's got some cool modules in it. It's actually got a lot of modules in it, but honestly, more than half of these modules are kind of gimmicky or didn't sound very good. Certain things I remember when we would look at things like the Black 76 doesn't sound anything like an 1176 to me. The release and the attack time don't respond like an 1176 to me. We talked about that during the live stream. Yes, this was something that, you know, a couple of students of mine said, hey, you really ought to check this out. And I went out and purchased it. And, you know, I got a really good deal on it. I think I paid $49 for. For $49, it was a fun experiment. Would I really use this with all the other ones that I have? Probably not. So again, I would tell you buy the Infinity, the PSP, long before I would tell you buy this. And or the Slate Digital, if you have, again, they're all access pass, you have the virtual mix rack, you have everything you need there, you don't need this. IK Multimedia is one of those companies, I have a lot of their plugins, most of them I'm not crazy about, but there are a few that I like. We're going to look at a couple of those now. Their tape machine bundle is really good. Now, the thing about their tape machine bundle is it is a CPU hog. These are not going to be the plugins where you're going to put 30 of them on every track like we did in last week's live stream. You're not going to be able to do that with these plugins. These are more bus, mix bus, master bus kind of things. But there's a 4-pack of tape machine, a bundle that you can get on Black Friday. I think when I bought it, it was like $79 for 4 plugins, and they're worth $79. So we talked a lot about tape machines last week in the live stream, and we were looking at the Slate Digital tape machine. Just happened to be one that I really like. These sound different than that. I would almost step out on the limb and say that some of the T-Rax tape machines are better, more colorful sounding, a little bit more hype than the Slate Digital stuff. Maybe modeled a little bit more in depth, and maybe that's why the CPU usage is so heavy. But this is one of them. This is the Tape 24. Great tape machine. They also make the Tape 440 in that bundle pack again, and you can resize these just by dragging these. One of the things I like about T-Rax and some of these other plugin manufacturers, you can resize the windows. But again, very, very different sounding, a lot of color. You will definitely notice it when you put it on your tracks. But again, CPU heavy. They also have the Tape 80. This is another one that's really good. So if you're in the market for some tape machines that you just want to use on your buses or your master bus, you get their 4-tape pack. At least, I don't know if it's a 4-tape pack anymore. It used to be when I bought it. And again, you could buy these all at Sweetwater. By the way, you could buy all the IK Multimedia stuff at Sweetwater. So that's where I bought mine. So you can buy it from them if you want. But this is another really good tape machine. And then the last one I have by them is the Tape 99. Again, much different sounding, great tape machine. Once again, CPU heavy, but they sound great. It's one of the few things by them that I like, IK Multimedia. What else do I have here? Oh, the other ones, I think that was it for IK Multimedia. I have a lot of their plugins, like I said. I'm not showing you all tonight because it would take us too long, but I have I forget what the hell bundle it's called. It's called I forget. You could see here by looking at my browser, I got a whole slew of their plugins. I've gone through about 50% of them this year, and the only ones that I really stood out that I really like were the tape machines. But I've had people tell me that things like they have a couple of channel strips down here that I haven't played with yet. The white channel is supposed to be really good. I think I have one called the black channel. There's the tape echo is supposed to be good. I haven't really played with them yet. There's no YouTube videos on them for me yet. So I'm not recommending them because I can't give you my honest opinion. Overall, IK Multimedia has not impressed me enough to buy their bundles going forward, but they do have some singular plugins that are really good. And like I said, the tape machines is one of them. So in 2021, I will go through all of them at one point because I own them. I want to check them out. And maybe they'll show up in next year's plugin wrap up. I don't know. Okay. Now the next company I want to show you that I don't even have anymore because the demos had run out, but I did do a bunch of videos on this company called Black Rooster Audio. I would tell you, most of their stuff is real CPU heavy, kind of finicky. This is their tape machine. You can see it's locked. And I think I had their 1073. I see a lot of their advertisements on Facebook and stuff. Not a fan. At least I haven't found anything that I'm a fan of. Not enough that I would buy it. I've demoed it and ran out, license ran out. But people ask me about Black Rooster Audio. I see them pop up a lot in Facebook feeds. So again, what limited experience I have with them, I'm not a fan of their stuff. I don't think it's worth the money. They're pretty pricey. They're CPU heavy, and I don't think they do anything different or special than anything else that I've already owned. But I've only tested a few of them. So proceed with caution with Black Rooster Audio. Okay. I think we're about halfway through. How's everybody doing? 105 people. Wow. You guys are great. I hope you're all giving us the thumbs up. And I know Dave's working overtime in there. giving, oh, Dave's also another cat that has a ton of plugins. And we have chatted a little bit back and forth about one day doing a plugin comparison big video together, because he has a lot of stuff too. He uses a lot of stuff that I don't use. He uses a lot of free plugins, and he's a plugin aficionado as well. So at one point, hopefully Dave will be able to share some of his thoughts too. We will do that because he has a lot of knowledge in this stuff to help give you guys some good information. Okay, here's a couple of plugins I think are worth looking at for sure. This one here, Addictive Trigger. This is a drum replacement plugin, much like Slate Trigger 2. The reason why I ended up with this is because if you watched my upgrade to Studio One version 5 videos about 2 or 3 months ago, you saw I was having all kinds of problem with Slate digital plugins. I got it all sorted out originally, but in the meantime, I picked this up from Sweetwater on sale, I think for $79, and I wanted to try it. And I gotta say, if I didn't have Slate Trigger 2 and wasn't so used to it, this has more features, and I think, do I dare say it's better than Trigger 2? I like it. I like it a lot, as a matter of fact. It's got a lot more controls, a lot more tweakability. The only thing that you cannot do with this, as far as I can tell yet, is you can't add your own samples, where like with Slate Trigger, you can use, if I sampled my own snare drum, I can use that in Trigger 2. I don't think you can do that here. And that's the one drawback. I've only played with this a few times, and the few times I used it, I really liked it. A lot more controls, a lot more ways to edit the drums, has EQs, has saturation, all built in it. Things that Trigger 2 doesn't have. That's not to say Trigger 2 isn't great. It's great. I've been using it for years, but this is an alternative to that. And if you want something with more control, I think this is a great plugin to take a look at. This is Addictive Trigger. Really cool plugin. Okay. The next one, I absolutely 100% was a game changer for me. This is, and again, there's a YouTube video on this as well. This is the Sound Theory is the name of the company. This is the Gullfoss Intelligent EQ. Go watch the video on it. I explain in detail what this thing does. This thing I keep now permanently parked on my master bus and use it on every single mix in a very subtle way, and it just brings things to life. You can use it on individual tracks. You can use it on buses. But the way this plugin is designed is the more information that gets put into it at once, it changes and makes EQ moves on the fly intelligently based on the program material coming in. Go watch the YouTube video. Again, I don't know if they do Black Friday sales, this company. Sound Theory, you can check them out. Normally this is $199, and even at $199, if you have the budget, I'd say this is worth $199 all day long. But if you could get it cheaper than that for Black Friday, if you could get it for $100, absolutely go watch my video and pick this up. And you will probably do what I do, leave it on your master bus and use it in every single mix, and it helps. The key with this plugin, as you'll see in the video that you go watch later on, you got to use it sparingly. But it does a wonderful job of unmasking frequencies and stuff in a mix and cleaning things up very, very nicely. So I would absolutely recommend this plugin to anybody. Oh, and David says it's 35% off right now on that plugin. But 35% off, so that's going to put you at about, what, $150? If my math is right, $130? I know it's a little pricey, guys. This is one of those things that you don't have another plugin in your arsenal that does what this does. If this was like another 1176 or another LA2A or another SSL channel strip, I'd say, yeah, you got other ones. This, you don't have another plugin that does what this does. This is worth that money. Okay, let's move over to Waves. Waves, there was a bunch of plugins I got this year. Some real sleepers. And again, Waves is always putting their stuff on sale. Right now, they got some crazy deal. Buy one at 50% off, get the second one at 60% off, the third one at 70% off. They got some crazy deals. Okay, the first one I picked up was the Abbey Road Saturator. Absolutely, I love all the Abbey Road stuff. I highly recommend this, buy it. YouTube video on it. Great saturation plugin, different sounding than any other saturation plugin I own. Highly recommend this. This all day long over things like we talked about earlier, over things like this, right? The Fire Cobra by United. Again, not trying to bash them. I'm just saying this versus this, there's no comparison. This is the one you want, okay, in my opinion. Go check out my YouTube video. Great, great saturator plugin. Great. Second one by Waves Abbey Roads. Now this one we did a live stream on. I've done a demo on. This is the studio, Abbey Road Studio, where you put it on your master bus and it sounds like you're in the Abbey Road control room. Cool plugin. I enjoyed using it. I wouldn't, these are not, I'm starting to think less and less of these kinds of plugins. I find every time that I use one, although I think it's unique and it sounds cool, for me, it doesn't really help me. I suppose if you're someone who mixes on laptops, on headphones, and you're on the road and stuff, this is a cool thing to have if you're not using studio monitors. You know, again, if you could get this really inexpensive, it's something fun to play with, you may really enjoy it. Again, it's not one of those have-to-haves, I don't think, but it is a cool plugin, and it gives you another perspective. But it's not one of those things I'd say you got to run out and buy this today. But there's a video on it on the channel. Abbey Road vinyl, love it. Use it 50% of the time on mixes, even if I don't want to hear the crackles and the pops and the vinyl sound, just to use it for the compression and some of the low end thickness that it adds to a mix. This is really, really great. Great plugin. Again, if you can get this one on sale for 25 bucks or whatever they're charging, absolutely 100%. I would say pick this up. Throw this last on the chain after your tape machine on your master bus. And even if you turn down the noise, turn down the crackle, unless you want to hear that stuff. Sometimes I go for that and add a little bit of snack, crackle, and pop, and it's cool. It's not overly hyped, but you can control all of that. But just turning the TG tape desk modeling on and off, the difference between the lacquer and the print cutting lathes, and then the different types of turntables, and more importantly, the 3 types of cartridges, what a bunch of tonal shaping you can do with this. And it just gives that extra 5% on the end of the mix to just make it sound right. This is another one of those plugins you got to use very sparingly. You don't want to crank up the noise, crank up the crackle. You don't want to do that. You want to do things very, very subtle. But this is a wonderful plugin. This is kind of another one of those kind of secret plugins that I'll put on the end of a mix just to kind of put it all together. Great plugin. And again, 20-something dollars. It's worth it by far. The other plugins I picked up this year, which I haven't spent a lot of time with, but I really do like what I've done so far. I got the API collection, 2500 compressor by Waves. Again, this is a good compressor. The only other one that I know that's out there that's done a good job is the Universal Audio one, and they're like 300 bucks. This was 30 bucks. This doesn't always work on everything. Certain types of mixes, it works really well. The few times that I've used it, I've liked it. It's got a very unique sound. Very unique sound. And so if you're not familiar with the Waves API collection, you could probably get the bundle really cheap. Again, it's a very distinct sound in and of itself. Much different from a Neve or an SSL Vibe. And so really cool, really, really interesting. So this comes along with a couple of EQs. This comes along with the 550A EQ, the 550B. Again, really simple EQs. What I love about API's EQs is the top end is always very, very smooth. You can jack up the top end at 8 or 10K and things never get harsh, never get brittle. I love that about the API stuff. So you have this one, you have the 560, which has the more graphic thing. Again, really cool. Don't use it on everything, but I use this sometimes on snare drums. Give a little bit of 250 on a snare drum, really brings out the nice beefiness. A little bit of 8K, a little bit of crack sounds great. It doesn't sound like you've EQ'd stuff. That's one of the things I love about API. Sounds really, really good. Okay. Next by Waves, again, an essential bass rider. This is another $20 plugin you should have. Absolutely great for not having to manually ride bass in your mix. Works just like Vocal Rider, except it's tuned for bass. Vocal Rider I don't have in this list because I picked it up a couple of years ago, but that's another one you should have, Vocal Rider. This is a great plugin. Great plugin. This one here, Bauer Motion, again by Waves. This one is kind of a weird thing where you can do some weird things with panning and just kind of a 3D thing. I think I got this for free because I bought a few other plugins and it was one of my free choices at Waves. So I picked this up to try it. I used it once on a mix on some keyboards and it sounded pretty cool, But again, it's a very specific thing, very used it for a very specific task that I don't use all the time. It's a little confusing of a plugin, to be honest. It's a kind of a little CPU heavy, not something that I highly recommend, but something different. Something that if you want to give something some unique space, some unique movement, it kind of does that for you. It automates it for you. But you got to kind of dive in to really dial this plugin in. To me, it was a little bit more hassle than what it was worth. But the one thing that I did use it on a mix with some keyboards, I really liked, but I haven't dug into it enough. But if you're buying a bunch of Waves plugins and you get one for free because you bought 4 or 5 of them, you want to check out something different, this is something different that you might be able to use on that specific instrument or something to make something kind of stand out or move in a mix. Kind of cool. Okay. So that's Brower Motion. Let's see. This is another one that absolutely everybody should have. This is the MV2. This is I did a YouTube video on this as well. This is a compressor where you can compress low level signals and high level signals at the same time. This is another one of those secret weapons. It sounds good on everything. I use a lot on kick and snare. This is another one you should have in your collection. Another one of those kind of little secret weapons to make things cut through a mix. This is a killer plugin for $20-something. MV2 by Waves. Check that one out. Here's another one I've been telling my students over at Mixing Made Easy about for 6 months, that everyone should have this one as well. If you're looking for a plugin that will help you get low-end information, particularly kicks and snares and floor toms, to cut through a mix on smaller speakers like earbuds and small computer speakers, because that's how people consume music today, this is the plugin you want to have. And again, I did a YouTube video on it. I've actually, in that video, actually broke out the user manual. I read the manual to you on what this thing really does, because it's not really just a compressor. It has a lot of kind of stuff going on under the hood with psychoacoustics. And basically what it does in a nutshell is it makes that kick drum cut through on a small speaker. It makes that bass guitar heard on a speaker system that typically the speaker's not able to reproduce those frequencies. I use this all the time on bass. Not all the time, but a lot of time on kick drum. Floor toms, it's another one of those secret weapons, much like the MV2. Get the MV2 and then spend the other $25 and get this. Okay, for $50 or for $40 or whatever, you can get those 2 plugins. You should use them. Both have YouTube videos, and I use them in Mixing Made Easy all the time. Arvox compressor vocals, tune for vocals. Nice little compressor. Don't use it all the time on vocals. If I'm having a hard time getting a vocal to cut through, sometimes I'll throw this on at the end of the mix, and this just gives me enough to push it up front where I want it. Is it an absolute necessity? It's one of those compressors that, again, it's more of a utility thing. I don't use it all the time. But again, you know, buying Wave stuff, sometimes you could buy the stuff for almost nothing, $20 or whatever. I have it in my toolbox. I use it maybe 20% of the time. But every time I go to reach for it and use it, it does exactly what I want it to do. And again, I have a YouTube video, I believe, on this one as well. These next 2 I just picked up today or yesterday, and I haven't even tried them yet. But I got them, one for free and one I paid $25 for. This is called Submarine. This is one of those kind of like the Plugin Alliance, that kick drum thing where you can put 2 low octaves on things like kick drums and bass guitars. I'm interested to try this. This will be something interesting, but I haven't done a review on it yet. But I bought it for $25 over at Waves. I've seen some YouTube videos on it. This is another one of those things. Again, if you need to get some low subsonic frequencies built in to thicken up something, this would be the thing to reach for. But we'll be looking at that hopefully soon. And then the last thing I picked up along with that, this is Smack Attack. This is another like transient designer, but a little bit more fully featured. And this, I'm anxious to play with this on kick and snare to see how it compares to the SPL. So you'll have to stand by for that. I haven't done the review yet. I just picked it up, and again, this one's on sale. So I wanted to point it out to you so you know. And again, I've watched some other people do some YouTube videos on it, and it looks like it's probably a little bit better than the SPL. And again, it's not a plugin that I use all the time, a transient designer, but when you need it, this would be one I would think you'd want to have. Okay, that's all the Waves. Everybody was still, we got 115 here. Okay, everyone enjoying this so far? We've got about another, I don't know, 10, 15 plugins, and then I'll take all your questions. Okay, Dave's doing a lot of hard work over there, putting all the links up for you guys. Go check him out. He's doing a lot of work. Okay, the next set of plugins is by SSL, the Native bundle. And again, these I gotta say are some of the best SSL plugins I've heard, made by the company SSL. The first one is their stereo bus compressor. Now again, you can buy their bundle for it's like a subscription based, or you can buy the plugins individually. I believe you can demo them as well. They're great plugins, great plugins. This is probably the best SSL stereo compressor that I have. I have the one by Waves. I have the one by Universal Audio. This is better than that, in my opinion. I love this SSL bus compressor. Okay. The next one is the V channel strip, the V6 channel strip. This is probably the most 3D SSL channel strip plugin I've ever heard. And again, this is part of the SSL plugin demo shootout that's on the YouTube channel that I did earlier in the year. This is a fantastic SSL channel strip. Now, again, when you go watch those videos, like I said in those videos, all the channel strips are modeled on different consoles, so they're all going to sound a little different. And the videos weren't intended to see, well, which one sounds exactly like the other. I know they're different. But this here had, and I think I said it in the video, a sense of depth to it that the other plugin manufacturers didn't have. And that includes the Plugin Alliance ones. Those were like a close second. This was better than that. So if you ever have an opportunity to try this out, I think you'd be very, very impressed. I know it looks a little bit different than what a traditional SSL plugin looks like, but this is a wonderful, wonderful channel strip. Probably my favorite SSL channel strip. Okay. Another part of that collection is the drum strip. This is specifically tuned for drums with low frequency enhancers in it. Like we're talking about, kind of that submarine thing, has a real low subsonic thing, transient designer, all built in. Awesome, awesome plugin for drum buses. Fantastic for drum buses. Okay. They also have a saturator as part of that bundle. Now, again, the saturator here is really, 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 really good. Again, is it better than all the other saturators are out there? I wouldn't say that, but it sounds really good. And if you end up getting their bundle as part of their subscription pack where you get all the plugins, you would get this. This is a very usable plugin as well. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I think there's like 6 or 8 plugins in the bundle. A few of them I'm not big fans of. That's why I'm not showing them to you. These are the ones I really enjoy. So it's the channel strip, the drum strip, and the saturator. Those things are great. Okay, let's see. I think this is a Soundtoys plugin. Yeah, Soundtoys. They have Black Friday sales as well. This is a kind of a really cool one. This is called the Radiator. This is kind of a preamp, kind of with some it's a saturator is really what it is. But it's very subtle and it's a very unique sound. It's different from a lot of the other stuff. I really like this a lot. I don't use it all the time. I've used this on snare drums. This will warm up a snare drum really, really nicely. I've used it on bass guitar. Really cool. Something that you may want to check out. Again, it's one of those utility plugins that I don't use all the time, but this thing will give that little extra nice color and it'll help things cut through a mix. This will help do that really well. Okay, let's see. Now the rest of Soundtoys. A couple of the Soundtoys I really like. Devil Lock, wonderful, use it all the time. Bass guitar, all the time. Vocals, in a very subtle way to give a little bit of grit to a vocal, in a very transparent way. This is an awesome plugin, Devil Lock. I would definitely recommend this. Again, it could be as subtle or as nasty as you want it to be. Really, they did a really good job on this one. And then also, I have Little Altar Boy. Little Altar Boy is great for maybe wanting to add another, what's the word, octave on a voice and maybe tuck it in underneath. I've done a couple of demos of this as well. You want to thicken up a vocal, but you don't want it to be obvious. This is a great plugin to use. Again, it's another one of those utility plugins that I don't use all the time. I don't need it all the time, but when you do need it, this will really do it. Again, there's a YouTube video on it as well, and I believe they're doing Black Friday sales. So those are the Soundtoys that I got this year. And I have Decapitator's awesome too, but I got that a couple of years ago. Okay, a couple of more companies to look at. Everybody still with me? How we doing? How we doing? Okay. The next company I want to show you is a company that I demoed earlier in the year. I believe there's YouTube videos on most of these plugins. This is the company called Overloud. Again, this is, here's their take on the SSL bus compressor. It's okay, not bad. Again, is it something I would, out of all the SSL bus compressors, would I tell you run out and buy this one? No. I mean, the one that we just looked at by SSL Native is better than this. And I would even say the one by Waves is better than this. Not a bad one, but nothing extra special here. If you already have one, no real reason to go buy this one. If you don't have one and you like the Overloud plugins, you might be able to buy it inside of a bundle, and it's very usable and it sounds really good. And there is a demo video of it on my channel, but it doesn't stand out as like, head and shoulders better above anything else. The next one by them is the LA2A. Same kind of thing. The thing about their plugins is they have some parallel wet dry stuff here. They got some mid-side stuff, things that you don't find on most of the other plugins. And this one has the LA2A and the LA3A built into one plugin, which is kind of cool. You kind of get two plugins in one. Pardon me. Again, they sound good. Do they sound better than any other LA2A or LA3A plugin that I have? Nope. Do they sound worse? Nope. They're about the same. But what's unique about this is you get two plugins in one, as I said, and you have some extra controls that you don't typically get. So something to check out. Overloud makes some good stuff, but to me, they're good stuff. They're not great stuff. Oh, what's this? Not now. Here's their Fairchild emulation. Again, nice big interface. I like that. Sounds good. I would use the Universal Audio one over this. But this is another one that, again, is very competitive. Sounds great. Again, if you could buy their plug-in bundle, and I don't know, Dave will probably, Dave's already got it up there. Look at that, on sale. If you could get really good deals on a bundle and you're looking for an LA2A, an LA3A, a Fairchild, then this may be a good bundle for you. They're good plugins. They sound good. But again, as I'm saying, if you already own these and other plugin manufacturers, you don't need to go out and buy these. The 1176, once again, it's an 1176, but you can do a parallel wet dry thing over here, which is kind of cool. Sounds great, This is an interesting one. This is the EQ, what's it called? The 495. This is based on a German EQ. This I really liked. This had a really cool thing I did on a snare with it when I demoed it. Again, cool plugin. This is a little different. This would be something that if I didn't, if I was going to buy one of their plugins singularly, this would be the one to buy. Let's see. They also have the Sculpt Tube. This is a saturator. Again, sounds good. Not bad. I put it on a master bus or on a drum bus, a little bit of saturation. Sounds really good. Again, better than any other saturator that's out there? No, but it sounds good. It's got a little bit of a unique sound. It's got 3 distortion types. Something that you may want to try. Now, this one I really liked, and I did a YouTube video on this. This is called their Tape Desk. This was the winner out of the bundle for me, because not only do you have the tape machine, which sounds great, but you also have the input of a console here modeled, the mic pre, excuse me, and the console on the output side. So they have a mic pre that you could turn on and off here. And then on the other side of the tape, you can turn on and off. You have 3 different consoles with 3 different pre's on it, which is kind of cool. So this has something that, see, here's one of these plugins where, again, if I'm going to point out something to you that's different than what other things that you have in your toolkit, here's one of those plugins. If you want something unique, you want a cool sounding tape machine, but with the addition of the 3 consoles, mic pre and mix bus modeled, this is cool. No other tape machine that I know does this, and this sounds different than every other tape machine I have in my collection. That would be one to look at out of the bunch. So great plugin. Then they have things like the Neve EQ84. Sounds good. Sounds like any other Neve 1084 that I have, but not a bad plugin. And then the EQ550, which is an API. Once again, I would use the Waves or the Slate before I would use this, but this is a good sounding plugin. But again, it doesn't, It's no better or worse than anything else that I've heard. The one thing I do like about this is that you have this cue where you can solo the frequencies, so you can just hear what you're dialing in on a specific instrument. That's unique about this plugin. So that's pretty cool. So the whole overloud package, there's not a bad plugin in the bunch. Some are kind of repetitive and redundant to ones that I've already owned from other companies, but then they have a couple of unique things like the tape desk that you may want to check out. So if you can get a bundle of theirs inexpensively for Black Friday and you don't have a lot of these kinds of plugins and you're looking for something a little different, this might be a bundle to take a look at. Good plugins, no duds in there. Okay, and then the last ones we're going to look at are some that I just recently picked up that I do highly recommend. And this is by the company Izotope. And again, I'm new to Izotope. Students of mine have been telling me about Izotope for years. I've always known about them. I've never really dove into their plugins too much because I've always been busy with all the other plugins. But I will tell you, I just picked up and there's already started 2 videos, part 1 and part 2, and part 3 is coming. Part 3 and part 4 are already recorded on the YouTube channel for Ozone 9. For mastering, this thing is killer. Killer, killer, killer. Wonderful plugin. And right now, use my affiliate link. Izotope has hella deals going on Sweetwater for their plugins. As a matter of fact, I think I just put this up on my Facebook this morning. This is the advanced version, which is normally a $500 mastering suite. It's on sale today for $250. You can get the standard version, which normally runs $250, I believe, for $125. The difference between the standard and the advanced version is there's 3 or 4 modules in the advanced version that are not part of the standard version. Unfortunately for you, if you're looking to save some money, one of those things that is absolutely worth the price of admission is this thing called Music Rebalance or Master Rebalance. This one module in the advanced version, and I already have a YouTube video coming, is worth the extra money at the mastering stage. Plus, they also have a module called low-end focus, which is not part of the standard version. Killer. Use it all the time. But Ozone 9 for mastering, wonderful, wonderful piece of software. Really, really is. Highly recommend it. Also on Sweetwater, if you use my affiliate link, you can just search Izotope on their homepage. They also have what they're calling right now, I think called the Elements Package or Bundle Deal. It's $49. You get Ozone Elements, which is beneath this. It's like the light versions of Ozone 9, RX8, which we're going to take a look at, and like 4 other software suites for $50. It gives you the opportunity to try out all of their major suites, but the light versions are just going to be stripped down versions, but you're going to get the core essentials for $50. You should buy it if you're new to Izotope. And then if you find that, oh, I like this one, I want to upgrade this other one, you can find out which one you like and you can upgrade it. But for $50, you should buy it. And again, if you search on Sweetwater under Izotope, you'll see it. You just search Izotope. It'll come up with all their software. I think it's called the Studio Holiday Deal or something like that. It's $50. So use my affiliate link, go buy that for $50, and then you can decide if you want to upgrade. But this is an awesome piece of software, Ozone 9. And I paid full price for this. I should have thought about it. I only bought this 3 months ago. I should have waited. I could have got it for half price. I wasn't thinking. So anyway, highly recommend Ozone. 5, 6, 7 videos of this will be on the YouTube channel over the next 5 or 6 weeks. I've already done the first 2, parts 1 and part 2. You can go to the YouTube channel and watch that. Okay? The next one by them, I haven't done a YouTube video yet. Oh, you know why? Because it's a standalone piece of software. The other thing about Ozone 9, just to go back, just so you know. Advanced version, you can use all their modules as plugins right inside of your DAW. Can't do that with the standard version. The standard version is a separate piece of software, a separate application. You can use this advanced version as a separate application as well, but you can also use it as a plugin, okay? Just wanted to let you know that. RX8, which I have their, hold on, I have their, I don't have the advanced version of that. So I only have, this is an audio, come on, this is an audio, I have the standard version of this, not the advanced version, so I can't use this as plugins. But this is an audio repair thing, freaking fantastic. I can't tell you how many times this has saved my rear end doing a client mix where they send me a file like a kick drum, there's a little bit of digital distortion, digital clipping, this will get rid of it. Or an acoustic guitar, we have a lot of excessive hand movement, which leaves the squeaky strings. This will take care of it. De-hummers, de-clickers, de-crackles, anything that has to do with audio repair. This is a wonderful piece of software. Again, I don't use it every single day, but every time I've needed to fix something, this thing has worked 100%. The other thing that this thing does, which is really cool, if you're someone who's a live performer and you play the backing tracks, this here called Music Rebalance, this is worth the upgraded to the standard version. I think their Elements version or whatever they call the version beneath this doesn't have this module. This will actually allow you to separate any piece of audio, any song. You take any commercial MP3 wave, import it, and it'll separate the vocals from the bass, from the drums, and from the guitars and keyboards. And what you can do is you can go in and you can say, hey, you know, I got this song by the Rolling Stones and I'm going to perform it with my band and I want to take out the vocal track. And you can just take the vocal down, hit this button, separate, and it'll separate the stems, vocal, bass, percussion, other, and the vocal will be gone. You can almost like build your own karaoke tracks or live performance tracks. And I've done this a few times and it works remarkably well. This thing is insane. So RX8 is an awesome, awesome piece of software for when you have problematic things with audio. And because I deal with a lot of files being sent to me, things that I did not record, it happens pretty frequently. This thing has bailed me out a bunch. Again, Izotope stuff typically is a little pricey. That's why it's great to buy it now on the Black Friday sales. But what I'm finding out with Izotope, and again, I'm new to Izotope. I'm not I'm not sponsored by them. They don't know who I am. I bought this with my own money, like most of these plugins you saw tonight. They're real high quality tools, and I found that the few things by them that I've used have really worked well for me, and I would highly recommend them. But they are a little pricey. I'm going to be honest with you. They're not the cheapest things in the world, but they work well. So RX8 standard's really cool. Now, the other thing that I just picked this up the other day, and I only picked this up because I got it really cheap, and I want to be able to use this with some tutorials and for some of my students, is I picked up Neutron 3 Advanced. This is a mixing kind of a thing where, and again, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. I really bought this on a whim because I said I want to use this with some of my students and mixing made easy. I might do some YouTube tutorials on this, but this is supposed to help people who are newer to mixing with this thing called the Mix Assistant, where it listens to the mix and it kind of recommends different EQ, compression settings, and all those kinds of things, balances and stuff. And the few YouTube videos I've watched on it, it was pretty impressive on what it can not only do on singular tracks, but on an entire mix. I'm typically not a big fan of these kinds of things because they kind of market it in a way that, oh, you don't need to know about how to use a compressor and you don't need to understand basic EQ skills and all that. This will all do it for you. Just touch the button. It just happens. Yes and no. It depends on the program material. Sometimes it could do a very good job. Sometimes it could probably make it a mess, I would imagine. We don't know. We're going to test it out, but I haven't tested it out yet. But I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've seen a few demonstrations of it. It was somewhat impressive. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but I really bought this to use as an instructional piece of software. And who knows, I might find, like with the other Izotope stuff that I've been very impressed with, that there might be a time and a place where I would use this. I probably wouldn't use it all the time, but they also have this thing called unmasking, which I guess will listen to a mix and unmask certain frequencies and things that are clashing, and it might be really cool. We'll see. So again, I can't tell you run out and buy this yet because I haven't tried it, but if it's something you want to look at, if it's anything like Ozone 9 or like RX8, if it's anything like those two plugins, it looks like it's laid out exactly the same way with the same kind of format with modules and a mix assistant versus a master assistant in the mastering program. If it works as well as those other two programs work, then I'm going to be impressed, and we're going to see. But it was something that I kind of bought on a whim. I don't really need it, or who knows, maybe I do need it. We're going to find out. But I'm digging Izotope these days. So I do recommend them to you, but I don't have tons of experience with it. But the experience that I do have, I can only say positive things. Only say positive things. Okay, so that's Neutron. what's this? Neutron 3 Advanced. Okay. Again, you can get this at Sweetwater as well. Okay. So definitely use the Sweetwater links Dave's are putting in the chat. If you're going to purchase these things, again, you're going to get them at the same prices on their website, and you're going to help me, which is really, I really appreciate that. Okay. So those are all the plugins that I picked up this year, and those are the winners and the losers. I'll answer any questions that you guys have. We'll head back on over to the chat. Hope you found that somewhat informative. Again, I know we didn't listen to anything, but that wasn't the point of this. Like I said, 90% of everything I showed you tonight has a YouTube video already done for it. Go watch those videos. And if I told you something was good, it's because I really do believe it was good. And something you may want to consider. So let's see who's in the chat. We have 130 people here. Wowee, fantastic. I really do appreciate everybody coming and hanging out on Thanksgiving with me. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving if you're in the US and Canada and you're celebrating that. And I hope you and your families are safe, most importantly. And hopefully you'll get some cool shopping on. Once again, make sure that you go to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Black Friday sale ends this weekend, 50% off all the training courses, right? Black 50 is the coupon code. Go check that out. Okay, let's see. All right. Anyone have any questions? If you asked a question more than 30 seconds ago, retype it in there. I will get to it. If you want to use the super chat, your question will go directly to the top, and I will make sure that I answer your question for sure. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with this many people, how many questions that are coming in. Okay. Let's see. Stanley says, hi, Stanley. Izotope tonal balance is worth checking out. Has ozone 9. You have neutron 3, nectar 3, and tonal balance control 2. Okay, so Stanley is an isotope person. Really cool. I've seen nectar 3 as well. I might check that out at one point. But you're right. The tonal balance is worth checking out for sure. Let's see. Okay, Sergio's talking about overloud. That's cool. All right, let me get down here to the bottom. Any questions at all? Let's see. Remote post. What preamp or compressor do you recommend for tracking vocals? Well, anything. I mean, a preamp 1073, the one that we looked at tonight, the Arturia 1073 would be great. Compressor, use something like an 1176. You know, just do a light amount of compression if you're talking about tracking, something like that. Nothing too crazy. That's what I would do. Hey Dave, Overloud has a reverb plugin named the Matrix. I'd like to see an overview. Yeah, maybe at one point. I don't have that one. I might check that out at one point, but I haven't tried that myself. Stanley says, in general, Stanley C, in general, SSL Native EQ versus Gullfoss versus Fab Filter. Gullfoss is something totally different. It's not even in the same, it's a totally different animal than Fab Filter or Native EQ. Totally different. So you can't put that in that group. I would tell you buy the Gullfoss all day long. If you're asking me between the SSL Native or the Fab Filter Pro Q, probably the SSL Native. If you're looking for the color, the Fab Filter Pro Q doesn't have, you know, that kind of analog kind of vibey thing. It's more of a surgical EQ. It's a different tool. If you're looking for like an SSL sound, then the SSL Native stuff is really good. Have you demoed the SSL Native channel strip against the Plugin Alliance? Yes, I have. It's on the website. Go check it out. I did a 3-part series on all the SSL plugin channel strips, and all 3, and they're all in there. So yes, it's there for sure. Let's see. Are you going to do a follow-up on the Slate VSX? At one point, probably, but the reason why you don't see me doing it is because I can't demo it and record it with it on, because what you would be hearing is the effect of the plugin. And unless you have their headphones, it really doesn't do you any good. And so that's why every demo that you see on YouTube, they just listen to it, you watch them listening to it, and then they take off the headphones and they tell you what they think. Because you can't listen to it over YouTube because it really will throw you off. I will say this about it. If you're in the market for a good set of mixing headphones, I think the price of that VSX system is $500. It's worth $500. The headphones alone are worth $500. These headphones are $500. A good set of mixing headphones are. Paired up with the software, I think it's really good. Here's the thing. when I used it, what I found was what you got to do is you got to pick one of the environments in the VXX and just go for it. Sometimes if you're switching back and forth between all the different things that they've modeled, it can kind of confuse you more than it can help you. You got to be careful with things like that. If you're going to pick a room or pick an emulation and work with that, I think it's really, really good. So I think it's a good product, but it's hard for me to do a YouTube video on something that you can't hear. For you to watch me listen to it and take off the headphones and go, this is what I think. I just told you what I think. I think it's a good product. I think it's worth the money. If you're in the market for mixing on headphones, it's worth having. It's a good product and the headphones are really good. I think anyway. Let's see here. Dave's got a bunch of links in there. Great. Don't forget, if you're liking the content Dave is providing, hit the, oh yes, thanks DJ. He's telling me hit the thumbs up. Yes, please hit the thumbs up if you guys like what you guys see. That would be wonderful. Would love that from everybody. Richard Allen, what is the number one plugin you'd buy? That's based on what? What are you looking for? I mean, that's such a broad question. I mean, that answer would be different if you say, what's the number one channel strip would I buy? If there wasn't a budget, I would tell you buy the the SSL Native channel strip. I think it's the best SSL channel strip out there. If I said, what's the best utility plugin, buy the Gullfoss EQ. But to ask that kind of a question that broad, it really depends on your needs. You know what I mean? Let's see. Bobby, mixing mastering services. The only plugin I'm waiting for is an API from Plugin Alliance. I think that I've heard rumors that that's coming. Me too, Bobby. I would second that. Let's see. The FGA from Slate is great when it comes out tomorrow. Yes, that's right. The Slate Digital, again, if you have their, and the one thing I will say too, I have myself a little note, because if someone may ask this, if you're someone that's new to these kind of plugins, to me, still the best bang for buck deal, if you want to have a nice collection of plugins where, if not all, 90% of them sound really, really great, and you just get one set of plugins and you don't have to go out and buy anything else. Either the Slate All Access Pass, to me, is still the best bang for buck by far. One of the reasons is because when they put out new plugins, if you have their subscription, you get it for free. There's nothing extra to pay. They have 2 new plugins coming out tomorrow. They're LA2A and then a second LA2A with some special additional features, and Slate doesn't have any bad plugins. The next one I would tell you to buy is maybe the Plugin Alliance Mixing Bundle, because you get a lot of plugins there too. And again, a lot of the channel strips we looked at tonight. And again, it's reasonably priced. Or if you're really into SSL and you want to have an SSL style, the SSL Native that we showed you tonight is great stuff too. Those are nice all-in-one packages where you can just buy them, and then you have them. And then, you don't have to go out and buy plugins from 100 different manufacturers. But yes, I'm interested to see what the FG2A, which is the Slate's LA2A, will be coming out tomorrow for free if you own the Slate Digital All Access Pass. Arrowproof, great show, Dave. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Eric says, hey, Eric, I like the Plugin Alliance stuff, Brainworks. Yep, I love their stuff too, man. And I tell you, I didn't for a long time. They turned, my opinion about them has changed this year, especially on their channel strips. Eddie Drums, hey, Eddie. What do you use for real drum sounds? What do you use to get real drum sounds? Well, I'm not sure I know what that means. I mean, what real drum sound, like I'll use Slate Trigger or the Addictive Trigger to replace drums samples that are real recorded samples to make drum kits sound really good. That's if that's what you're asking, that's what I use. Stanley says, thanks for answering. No problem. Do you still use Waves S? Do I still use the Waves S1 stereo imager? No, I've never really used that. I like the one in Ozone 9. I love their stereo widening, and that's fantastic. That's what I use. Let's see. The new upgrade for the software for VSX sounds incredible. Yeah, I heard about it. I'm sure it's really going to be really good. Like I said, Slate Digital doesn't put out crappy stuff. At least I have never seen anything that was crappy. Paul says, thanks, Dave. You're welcome, Paul. You just got your VSX yesterday. Sounds great. Yeah, it's great. It's a great product, man. I think you'll like it. Take your time with it. Get used to it. Let the headphones break in. But the headphones alone are worth $500, in my opinion. Let's see. which plugin would come close to the UAD stuff? What kind of plugin? Compressor, EQ, tape machine, console emulate, what? Reverb, delay? You got to be more specific to which one. UAD, I still think, has some of the best sounding plugins on the market. The reason why I didn't show you any tonight is because I have them all. I have nothing new to show you. I don't use them as much in my instructional videos. I do. In mixingmadeeasy.net I do. But not in, because most of the people that follow me don't have a universal audio hardware setup. So for you, it doesn't really help. But I still will say they make some of the best sounding plugins on the market, Universal Audio. And again, what I love about Universal Audio, which is different from every other plugin I showed you tonight, is that it doesn't run on your computer's CPU. It runs on the DSP chips and their hardware, so it frees up your CPU, which is good. But it depends on what kind of plugin you'd be looking for. Let's see. CLA Mix-Up, good also. I did a demo on that. Thought it was okay. Not bad. Great show, Dave. Thanks for your free videos. I see all of them and I really enjoy it. Wonderful. Thank you for watching. Just wanted to say hi to everyone. Greeting from the Netherlands. Greetings. Thank you for coming. Thanks, Dave. You're very welcome. Let's see. Richard says, I have to mix with headphones. What choice of headphones? Money is not an issue. Oh, okay. Well, if you don't want to get the Slate VSX, I'm wearing the Neumann the model number escapes me. If you go to Sweetwater and search for Neumann headphones, it's the only ones they sell. $549 and NR2s or something like that. I don't remember the name. Fantastic. Closed back headphones. Love them. Sennheiser HD 650 or 700s. Another really good headphone that I would highly recommend. Either one of those. Both of those you can buy in Sweetwater. With my link, of course. But yeah, those are really two really good ones. The second coming out is Fresh Air plugin from Slate. Yep, Fresh Air is another plugin. So you're going to get 3 free plugins this weekend from Slate Digital if you have the All Access Pass. Sorry, my throat's really dry. I got to keep taking a drink. Too much yakking for me. But yeah, Fresh Air is supposed to be kind of a nice, the Airband kind of a plugin. I'm looking forward to getting that myself. And I will do YouTube videos on those. You know I will. It may take me a few days, but I'll get to them. Let's see. Would you suggest the AB reference plugin or the reference tools provided in the Ozone 9? The AB reference plugin for mixing, because by the time you get to Ozone, you're mastering at that point. I like them both. I haven't used all the reference tools in Ozone 9 yet, but by that point I'm already at mastering. So I like the Plugin Alliance AB reference because you can solo out frequencies, you can check loudness, dynamic range. There's a lot of tools in that thing. So I would say that. Let's see. Paul says, one of my favorite PA plugins is the Black Box. I haven't tried that, but someone else mentioned that to me. I just haven't tried it yet, but I know other people that use it and like it. The SSL 9000J is really good. Yep, that's a really good channel strip. I am trimming Easy Drummer is legit. Easy Drummer is a great thing, and Superior Drummer as well. Yep, you guys all using that. That's awesome. Hey, can egg trays be used for soundproof? No, that's not soundproofing. That's an old wise tale. That's not even sound control, let alone soundproofing. Let's see. K-Box Studios, must try. It's an underrated plugin, powerful tool. Not sure which one you must be talking to someone else above. That's cool. Let's see. The PreSonus CL1B sounds better to me than the UAD version. Okay, cool. Probably wouldn't surprise me. All right. What else? Any other questions? I'm getting down to the bottom. I have a Focusrite and I'm not using UAD. I'd like to know a compressor pre and a tape machine. Oh, okay. Compared to the UAD. Okay. Compressor, preamp, and a tape. Okay, preamps. Check any of the Arturia plugins that I talked about tonight. Fantastic preamps for sure. Compressors. Again, you can check out things like the Wave CLA 76, the CLA 2A, the Fairchild plugins. Again, you can get them really cheap by Waves. They sound great. Again, tape machines. Again, the overloud tape desk that I showed you. The Slate virtual tape machine is really good. The VTM, really, really good. The Abbey Road J37 tape machine by Waves, another great plug, another tape machine. Those are all very comparable. I mean, high quality stuff is what I should say. The custom compressor from Slate won't come out. Oh, and this weekend it'll come out later. The Fresh Air and the FGA 2 are tomorrow. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, that's great. Let's see. The best wave bundle. Torn between the Diamond of the Horizon. I have no Waves plugins, and it all figures I can get quite a few for one good deal rather than one at a time. Yeah, I don't know much about the Diamond of the Horizon. You're not going to, I don't believe in those packages you're going to get things like the Chris Lord Algae stuff or the Jack Joe Fouquet stuff. I think those are different. Those are older bundles by them. So it really depends on what you want to get. I don't know much about those two packages and what's in them, so I can't tell you which one to buy. But I guess it depends on what you're looking for. You won't get, I don't believe you'll get any of the Abbey Road stuff. I don't believe that's part of it, but I could be wrong. You got to check the website. Milkman. Hey, Milkman. Hey, Dave. I'm late. Please leave this up. Yeah. I'm going to leave it up, my friend. You got it, brother. No problem. It's not coming down. You guys will get, this is staying on YouTube. No problem at all. Let's see. Hey, Dave, what is your opinion on the best 1176 emulation? The one that I like the best is Universal Audio. I still think they make the best 1176 that's out there. If you don't have Universal Audio, then I would tell you probably the CLA 76, because you get the blue stripe and the blackface all in one plugin, and they sound great. They really do. That would be my next one if I had to choose. But if I had Universal Audio, I would use those every single time. Let's see. Paul says, Dave, have you tried the Soothe 2? No, I have not tried that yet. Stanley says, have you tried the Ozone vintage tape module? What is your thoughts on it? I very briefly, I can't, not enough to be able to give you an honest opinion. The one thing that I noticed right away is it was super, 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 super subtle. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it didn't seem to do for me what limited I played with it. Again, I may have to mess around with it some more than something that a tape machine plugin would do at mixing. In other words, at the end of my master bus at mixing, I'm going to use like the virtual tape machine by Slate, or I'm going to use, the Kramer Master Tape or the Abbey Road J37 or one of the Universal Audio tape machines. A lot more colorful, a lot more tape sounding. What I heard in Ozone was it was almost difficult to even distinguish the difference between the different tape speeds. But I only spent about 5 minutes with it. So I don't want you to think it sucks, because I can't say that. but I have not played with it enough to know if it's great yet. But I'm going to do a YouTube video on it soon, so I'm going to play with it more and more. And then I could probably give you a better answer, if you will. Let's see. Are you using Studio One 4? Is it necessary to upgrade to 5? If I'm using is it necessary? No, it's not necessary to upgrade to 5. It depends on what you use Studio One for. What do you use it for? Would you give Izotope a thumbs up? Yes. Oh, Paul, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, my friend. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Let's see. Okay, some people are saying the upgrade to 5.1 is worth it. Yep, you could. I mean, version 5 is great. Do you need to upgrade from 4? It depends on what you use it for. For what I use it for mixing and stuff, it really wouldn't be necessary for me, but I have the latest versions of Studio One because in the education business, people want to see the latest version. And so I try to keep up with that stuff. Are UAD interfaces worth the price? I'm considering upgrading from a Behringer. Oh yeah, but compared to a Behringer, head and shoulders. Are they worth the money? Absolutely. I have Universal Audio interfaces, Universal Audio Apollo. I've been using them for years. I think they make some of the best middle-priced interfaces on the market without spending ridiculous amounts of money. And like I said, when you have the Universal Audio interface and you're in that ecosystem, now all their plugins run off of the DSP. So you not only get the interface, but you get a lot of the plugins as like a starter package that you can upgrade over time if you choose to. And you can, take some of the workload off of your internal CPU. But the interface in and of itself, the preamps, the D to A to D converters are far better than anything that's put out by Behringer. That much I can tell you. And far better than most things in its price point. Really is. So I highly recommend Universal Audio as far as that goes. If you have the budget and you want to spend the money, it's a great upgrade to a studio. What about Waves Factory stuff? I don't know much about that. I've never used it. Okay, I always wanted to... Let's see. What do you think about McDSP multi-brand? I've never used McDSP stuff, any of their stuff. Again, people have recommended it to me. I haven't circled around to them yet. Maybe at one point I will. Again, people were pressing me to do ozone stuff forever, or Izotope stuff forever. And I kept away. And now that I'm using it, I really liked it. So McDSP, I may check out later next year, but I haven't tried any of their stuff, so I can't tell you for sure. So sorry, I can't help you with that one. Okay, great. We still got 97 people here. This is wonderful. Any other questions, go ahead and ask now. Again, Black Friday sale still going on. Dave's putting everything in the chat. He's taking care of that. He's being awesome. Again, use the Sweetwater affiliate links if you have anything you're going to buy on Black Friday. They've got crazy deals going on now, 70% off a lot of their stuff. Again, anything you do with that affiliate link, no matter what you purchase on Sweetwater, helps me out. But it doesn't cost you anything more, so I do greatly appreciate that. Also, again, this Saturday evening, 7 o'clock Eastern, we're going to do part 2 of our mixing demonstration. We're going to talk about console emulation this week, so make sure you're around for that. So this was really fun. We still got 90 some odd people here, which is great. But make sure you check out all the Black Friday deals that I have, because this weekend it goes away and everything goes back up to regular price. Let's see. Sergio says about the 1176 here, the IK Multimedia is knocking out the Waves version, but I don't know because stuck. Oh, you're stuck with plugins. Very happy. Yeah, the IK Multimedia stuff is knocking out the Waves version. Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of these plugins are similar, and you might find you like one more than another. Again, IK Multimedia has just never really done anything for me. I've tried a lot of their stuff, and it's like, I'm not overly impressed. But that, again, you may really like them, and if they work for you, right on, man. I mean, use what works for you. Let's see. Hello, I just bought an Apollo Twin. Wonderful, man. Congratulations. Good for you. What's the best LA2A plugin emulation? The one by Universal Audio. But again, if I don't have Universal Audio, what would I tell you to buy? Well, we'll see what the Slate Digital one sounds like when it comes out this weekend. I love the CLA2A. That's another really good one, in my opinion. Did you try acoustic stuff? Not yet. I have it. It's on my list. My list is right over here. I have them. I've downloaded them. I haven't demoed them yet. That's why I didn't show them tonight, because I can't tell you whether I like them or not because I haven't tried them. But it's coming. It's coming. Okay, you guys are talking about upgrading. Great. Which Universal Audio plugin would you recommend after buying the Apollo Twin? The 11. Well, the Apollo. I would buy the 1176 collection, then the LA2A collection, and then the Pultec collection. If those are three. I know you asked for which one, so I'd say the 1176. Or a really good channel, or no, you can get a good channel strip from Plugin Alliance. I'd say the 1176. If you don't have a good 1176, they make the best one on the market, in my opinion. All of them. They're blackface, the blue stripe, the anniversary edition. They make great versions of those plugins, of those hardware, I should say. Sorry. You had to permanently ban someone? Okay. That's your call, my friend. Okay, in terms of the DDA 80-day converter on the UAD, are they the same? Solo, dual, twin? I believe so. I I want to say yes, but please, if you're going to buy that unit from someone like Sweetwater, I would almost say yes, they are. But just double check their website. I don't remember ever reading anything where they're different. The only difference between those things is how many you get on each one. But I believe they're the same ones. But I would just read it on their website just to confirm that. You know what I mean? But because I like to make sure I give you as accurate information as I can, because I don't want you to spend money on something and say, Dave told me, but just double check. But I would say I'm 95% certain that is the case. It's just the amount of preamps or inputs is based on the different models that you mentioned. But they make fantastic stuff. You won't be disappointed with Universal Audio interfaces. I can promise you that. Thanks, Dave. God bless. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. You're working like David SJ is working his tail off, man. Thank God he's in here keeping everybody, and helping me. Dave's a big help. He really is. And I appreciate him very much. Let's see. I've tested this Slate FG2A. Okay. It's amazing when you pair it up with the Slate 1176 Blueface on lead vocals. It's heaven. You'll hear it for yourself soon. Cool. I hope you're right, man. I would love nothing more. Jose says, sorry, do you have any thoughts on the SSL interface? I know you were talking about their plugins, but I heard it comes with the plugins when you buy their interface, it comes with their plugins. I don't know anything about their interfaces other than I know SSL only makes good quality stuff. They don't make cheap garbage. So I know that interface is fairly new. I didn't realize it came with the bundle. If you're in the market for an interface, I don't think you can go wrong with an SSL interface. It's a pretty expensive piece of gear from what I remember. And it's because it's high quality stuff. So the answer to your question is I can't tell you I can vouch for it officially because I've never used it, but I would also be very surprised if you bought it and didn't like it, something from SSL. Again, buy it from Sweetwater. And if you don't like it, you can return it. It's simple as that. And then you can try something else, That's why I tell people buy something from Sweetwater. Whether you use my link or not, if you do, I appreciate it. But that's not why I'm telling you. I'm telling you because they do have the best customer service in the business. So if you bought that interface, or if someone was talking about an Apollo earlier, buying an Apollo, and for some reason it doesn't work in your workflow, for some reason you don't like it, or whatever the case is, you call them up, put it in a box, send it back, they'll send you something else or give you back your money. They don't, no questions, no, nothing, no restocking fees. They don't do any of that. That's why when you're going to make a sizable investment in your studio and you're going to spend good money on a high quality piece of gear, buy it from someone where you can get that kind of customer satisfaction and service. So, but I would think you would be thrilled with the SSL interface. I'd be surprised if it wasn't any good. And if you get the plugins with it, hey, bonus, I didn't know that. Let's see. What else? Do you feel the SSLs, Waves SSLs are good compared to the UAD? The channel strip, well, if you're talking about the SSL channel strip, the Waves is one of the oldest ones that have been around for a long time. And a lot of people, and I love that thing for years. But I got to say, it's an older emulation technology. They haven't refreshed that plugin in 15 years or 12 years or whatever it's been. Whereas Universal Audio has modeled that SSL channel strip twice. As the technology gets better, as they're able to better emulate the hardware, they go back and they refresh them. And if you already owned the first one, you would get the second one for free. You didn't have to pay for it. Waves hasn't done that. So like I said, out of all the SSL channel strips that are on the market, and again, I did a plugin shootout, theirs would be probably the last one I would tell you to buy, only because I think the Universal Audio one has a better model of it. The SSL Native certainly is better, and even the Plugin Alliance SSL channel strips, I just think they're more fully featured. They're newer. The emulation technology is better, and so I would buy the Waves one last. Because you don't need to. I mean, I know you can get it for $25, but you can also get, the Plugin Alliance one for $50. So hope that answers your question. Okay, let's see. Any other, still got 97 people here. Boy, you guys are working me tonight. Okay. All right, let's see. Let me see. Where am I here? Thank you so much. I'll go for the SSL and I'll definitely use your link. Okay, great, man. And again, if you have any problems with it, you just send it back. But I would be shocked if you bought that and didn't like it. I would be shocked. It's getting quiet in here. Okay. Are you... what's this say here? Oh, I guess DJ is talking to David SJ. Something about courses. I'm sure Dave can help you. Let's see. I like the SSL audio interface and the Audient... ID44 has an amazing converters. I know Audient has great stuff. I don't know that particular product, but they're another company that makes really good high quality stuff. I would be surprised if you bought that and didn't like it, right? So I think you're looking at good quality pieces here for sure. From Waves, they have the Mix Hub from CLA. This is an SSL emulation. That is true. And I did a review on that. It's a pretty good plugin. Okay, Dave's helping out. Okay, there we go. Oops, don't want to delete that. Okay, about to pick up the Ozone 9 and RC23. Your link. Thanks. Hey, man, great. Thank you. Thank you. Ozone 9, you're going to like that one. If you have the money to get the advanced version, get it. If you could spend the $250, buy it, because that has a couple of those modules in it that you don't get in the other versions, and I think you'll like them a lot. So great. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Okay, any other questions? We still have 97 people. 97 people. Hopefully we'll get 97 thumbs up if we don't have it already. Again, we'll say it again. Black Friday deals. Get them this weekend. Sunday, the deals are gone. Any other questions? Any other questions before I go eat apple pie, loaded up with ice cream and whipped cream with my daughter for Thanksgiving, and then have a massive stomach ache for the rest of the night? Guy, I want to thank you so much. We had a really big turnout for time, and we still have, now we got 100 people in here. We've had that now for almost 2 solid hours. And for on a holiday, I appreciate you guys breaking away from your families and spending some time. I hope tonight's live stream, on some of this plugin information was helpful to you in any way. I know this is the time everybody wants to buy these things, so I wanted to try to give you as good information as I possibly can. Again, like I said, most of these things are all over my YouTube channel, so you can find these demos. You can see that I demoed most of them, except for some that are brand new that I just picked up that I mentioned earlier, but we will. All right, Dave had to ban somebody else. Oh, okay. Everyone's got to be cool, man. You got to come here. You got to be cool. Dave's not going to tolerate any nonsense. If you're here, everyone be cool, man. We're all friends here. We're all trying to help people. If you're going to troll, there's a million other channels you can go watch. This is a safe place for people to come and ask questions. Whether you're an absolute beginner and you don't know anything about what you're doing, you don't have to feel intimidated, overwhelmed, or scared to ask questions. People here are going to be helpful. We were all new once, including myself, and there is no quote-unquote silly or stupid question. Everybody's question is valid here. And so we want to make sure that people that have more experience are helping out the people with less experience, because we all, at one time, were new and needed help. And that's what this channel is all about. And so anyone that can't conform to that, David SJ is going to take care of it. Okay, great. Everyone's saying great show. Awesome. What are your thoughts on the UAD Avalon 737? It's one of the only UAD plugins I don't have, so I don't know anything about it, but I know the hardware unit is awesome. And if they modeled that hardware unit like they modeled their 1176s and LA2As, I'm sure it'll be amazing. But it's one of the few plugins of them I don't have. Let's see. All the Slate add-on plugins are cheap for Black Friday. Yep, they are. Go check all that stuff out. I mean, you're talking about the Fat Channel plugins by PreSonus. Yep, they make some good stuff too. Again, all the Fat Channel plugins in Studio One, there is a demo on every single one of their plugins on the YouTube channel. Every one. Some other people here wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Okay, great. So we're going to bug out of here. Again, thank you so much. Again, make sure you come back this Saturday night. I want to see this many people here again. We're going to be picking up where we left off. We're going to talk about console emulation, and we're not just going to show you the plugin, but we're going to talk about the concepts. We're going to do a deep dive into the Slate VCC. I'm going to show you how that pairs up nicely with the tape machine, and we're going to listen to some sounds, unlike tonight where it was all talk. So come back Saturday night, 7 o'clock. Again, if you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, you hit the notification bell, you'll know when I go live. If you're not on the email list, go to homerecordingmadeeasy.com and go right on the homepage, click the orange button. You'll get a free mixing course. You'll get on my email list, and then you'll be notified when I do these kinds of live streams, and that'll be good. So I hope to see everybody here again on Saturday evening. Thank you so much again for turning out. Thanks, Dave, for working the chat. We'll talk soon, and I'll see you guys in a couple of nights. Take care, everybody.